Well, the duck is back, and that's a fact. The duck is back. Hopefully, we're not doing a head chop. As you can see, I have done my hair and had a shave, and I'm holding my big fat guts in. So, been a while since we done a video, and the last one I said, actually I can't even remember what I said. It's something about the iron horse chopper, but the iron horse chopper got the warrant, went for a ride, and of course there's always a few niggly problems. One was what was it? One was after I got the warrant, I noticed that the high beam light on the dash, when you dip your lights up to high beam, it should have the blue light going on your dash telling you you're on high beam. That was on the low beam, so that was a bit confusing. Another problem is that the little valve in one of the heads was stuck open, I think, and it was throwing oil out the spit it out, man. Out the breather. Anyway, spitting oil out the breather, and because we'd done the adaptation to taking that breather away from the intake, so it's not feeding back into the intake. You'd have to go back in the videos and see where I showed you about that. I've done a few videos on that. Anyway, it was going into a tube that on my bike would spit it out onto the chain, so it wouldn't really matter, but because this bike is belt fed, spit it onto the belt, and then that threw it everywhere, like all over the brakes, all over the back wheel. So yeah, sorting out that. This is only sort of, I'll only be doing videos once in a blue moon. I think I've still got about 6 months work on the house I'm working on, and basically stop the house literally falling out onto the ground, rebuilt the wall. And for those of you that are not familiar with my channel, I'm Dux. My real name is Don Cochran. I'm a heavy automotive engineer by trade. I am qualified, and if you want to see any of my trade qualifications and things like that, you need to look up Dux Mechanical on Facebook, and there's a lot more videos and that there, and I'm still in the stages of moving those videos over onto YouTube. YouTube has got a lot better platform. Oh, and the other reason why I haven't done any videos is because I just done a change from the copper line, the old copper line telephone, to fibre, so I can upload things a lot quicker. Like before on the copper, I had to put the video on and then go to bed and wait for it, and at like some ungodly hour at 4 o'clock in the morning or something, it would upload, and then I'd be so scared that I'd hit the wrong button or something would happen and I'd have to do it again. I just would just put it out there, and I'm having a brain fart now. But anyway, baffling on. Where are we up to? I'll put a punt in for my mate down in Paira. He's started doing motorbikes in his own workshop in Paira in New Zealand, and the guy's called the workshop is called AP Motorcycles, and I'm not running the workshop, but I'm sort of in the background helping him. So if you would like help with your motorcycle, because I'm not doing motorcycles at the moment, but if you would like help, I would recommend him. He's an honest fella, and I call him the Giant. So yeah, and when you meet him, you'll understand that. But anyway, so I'm not sure. I feel like anyway. At the moment, the Iron Horse is back up onto the hoist, and we're sorting out those few little problems. I'm not sure whether that's in the shot. Actually, it's probably not. Let's turn it. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So I'll just check you're in the shot. So she's back up on the hoist, and what we've decided to do, the owner and I decided to do, is we're going to put a breather in the back of the engine. I might just take his out. I'll just pause it. Wrong button. So this is my bike. It's got the same engine in it, but what I'm talking about is this breather filter here, and it goes down into the crank, and it breathes. It relieves crank pressure and helps the engine breathe, and rather than just relying on these two top ones. And there's good reason for that, and I might just go into a bit of more detail with that. Bear with me. Okay, so now the monsters here. This I don't know if you can see it. So this is the pipe coming out of the crank, okay, and on. I don't know. So just bear with me. I don't know if you can see that. I haven't got my glasses on, but in there you will see a brass fitting that I put in there. And what we're doing is we're going to put a filter in here on the end of this pipe, and that will be sort of like, it's very hard to get in there and show you actually. That will sit in behind that exhaust, and I'm going to make a bracket up. I've already ordered the filter, and it's going to sit sort of in behind the engine here. And then I can hear 100 of you at the same time going, oh, why is he doing that? The reason why I'm doing that is the reason I think it, and don't quote me on this. I'm not very good on remembering years and that, but if my memory serves me right, around the year 1990 to about 1991, somewhere around there, Harley Davidson made a Evolution motor, 1340 Evolution motor. Hang on a minute, I'll give you a chair. Getting old. Harley Davidson made an Evolution motor, and it was and it had three breathers. It came engine breathers. It was a model, and it had a crank breather. One came out of the crank, and if memory serves me right, it went in a tube up into the airbox, and then it also had the two out of the top of the engine going into the airbox. And what was particularly good about that engine is that the engine breathed really well, you know. And the other point that I've realised, I've just been thinking about this lately, is that this system, I'll just check you're in the shop actually, because yeah, yep. Hopefully, I could be cutting my head off here too, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. You don't want to look at my scary mush. So this engine, so the first thing that you need to get into your brain is this is a S&S engine, right? And S&S is a company what has taken the stock standard Harley engine and they've pulled it apart and they've looked at all the problems with it, and then they've gone through it and made a lot of things just standard what we used to do to our old 1340s. So for instance, on a 1340 Evolution motor, we used to bore them out, put bigger pistons in them. And we're still doing this. And we used to CC the heads, which is take steel out of the top of the heads to make the compression chamber bigger, and put bigger valves in them, change the design of the ports, the intake ports going into the engine, and lots of this stuff. S&S just done as a stock standard process. And that's what I say to a lot of you guys, a lot of people that I meet who come here and talk about wanting to make the engine go fast. I say to them, yes, we can make your old engine go fast, but the reality is, I feel like I'm chopping myself off here, but the reality is that you're better off just to buy a stock standard S&S engine replacement for your motorcycle. It'll actually work out probably cheaper than changing all those components in your engine, and you'll have a lot better base and reliable base to start with, right? So they come out with adjustable push rods, lumpy cams, bigger pistons. This is a 1600 as opposed to a 1300, so it's already a really big engine. It's highly balanced and it's got bigger valves. You're right. So, and one thing that what S&S did acknowledge more critically is that breather port in the back of the engine coming out of the crank was a really good idea, and they kept it. In a lot of instances for the engines, especially the single cam engine like this, what go into these sort of older bikes, for lack of better terminology, even though this bike's quite a model, they still have it. And I'm getting to the point, so bear with me. So what happens, another thing what happens with these setups, and when I say these setups, this is with the oil tank is higher than the engine, right? And what happens a lot of the time when the motorcycle is parked up in the workshop, and we all endeavour to start our motorcycles every 2 weeks, but we get busy and it doesn't always happen. And there's a very good reason for you to start your motorcycle every 2 weeks, especially with this sort of a setup. And when I say this setup, when you have an oil tank higher than the crankcase, a lot of the new Harleys have the oil tank now down in between the engine and the gearbox, and it's all made as one. Like most of the late model Dyners are like that. From 2000 on. The one of the underlying reasons why Harley Davidson done that, and I can tell you this from an engineer's point of view, is because when you have this setup, it gravitates down over a period of time. It will actually gravitate back through the oil pump, I think, is what happens in reverse. So, well, it's not in reverse, because that's normally the way the oil goes in. So it's not in reverse. It slowly just weeps through the oil pump and into the crankcase, and it slowly fills up the crankcase, right? And this actually creates a lot of starting problems, because on a Harley Davidson, if you didn't know, the pistons go like this, right? They don't go like this. This is a Japanese motorcycle, right? A Harley Davidson goes like this, right? These ones do anyway. And the S&S, right, and they go like this. That's how they work. Now, if the crankcase has got excessive oil into it, right? Excessive oil in it. What happens is when those pistons come down, there's such a air displacement happening. It actually forces that down, and then the oil gets compressed, right? And then the engine goes, shit, where's that oil gonna go? And what I believe is happening, this is my own theory, what I believe happens is at that point the oil shoots up the oil gallery, right, into the rocket boxes, floods the rocket boxes, and then when the valve opens to let the air pressure out of the rocket box, it's not just letting air out, it's letting the oil out with it as well, right? And this then runs into your airbox, and then your engine starts sucking oil into the engine. Now, and I say again, that it's on this type of setup where the oil reservoir is higher than the crank. This is why Harley Davidson have moved away from the setup a lot, right? And so, and I noticed that even on that late model engine of mine, that S&S one, I start it, if I've left it sitting too long and I start it, I hear the same thing coming out of that breather, and it goes like that. And in some cases, when it's sitting there, sit there for a long time, it will actually throw the excess oil out of that filter, what I just showed you. So, and I think that's a good thing, because what it does is it instantly relieves the pressure in the engine. It stops that oil going up round the rings on the piston, and it stops coating the bottom of the piston, pistons and the barrel with excessive oil. It stops the flooding of the oil galleries and the rocket boxes getting flooded with oil, and it stops the excessive oil coming out and going back into the air tank. So there's a lot of good reasons for it. So that's why we're doing it. That's why that's why we're doing this. Yeah. Anyway, and there's not a lot of cost in it. I don't know. Yeah, you, and the interesting thing about this is that if you've got an old Evo engine, you might know about this, because I tell you something. When that crank, so just to explain that a little bit more, I've actually done this with my motorcycle, right? It's been sitting there for a month or 2 months, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go for a ride, and then like we all do, and we get it out and we pull, I open the. Once again, we're talking about these ones with the tank up here. You open the oil. You look in there and you go, oh my God, there's no oil in there, and you dip it and you're like, geez, it's not even on the stick. And you get a litre of oil and you fill it up, right? You put oil in there and you're scratching your head. This is what happened to me years ago. And I was scratching my head. That's funny. Where did all that oil go? And then you start your motorcycle up, right? This is another reason why you want to let your bike warm up for 5 minutes, not just get on it and ride straight away, right? And then while the engine is sitting there for the 5 minutes while it's warming up, it pumps all that oil out of the crank, back around and back into the tank. And then you turn your bike off and you're just about to go for a ride. You thought, I've done this, and I thought, I'll just check that oil, make sure it's got plenty of oil in it. And you pull the stick out, only to find, oh my God, it's overfull now. It's nearly running out of the lid. And that's when the penny started dropping for me. I was like, and I spoke to a couple of mates. I mean, I'm talking 20, 30 years ago, and I talked to a couple of mates, and they says, yep, that's a real common thing with those motors and that setup. They actually fill they gravitate the oil back down into the engine, fill it up, and flood the motor with oil, right? Now, not a biggie to worry about, but my advice to you is have a look on your Evo engine if you've got that bung, and I will show it to you. And it's just this, it's just a bung like this, sits in the back of the engine, and you remove it, and with the appropriate sealer you put in an outlet, right? So not a biggie to do, but especially on this bike, because there's a big gap between the engine and the gearbox. But on my bike, the gearbox is right up hard behind the engine, and it's a bit of a mongrel, to say the least. The other thing that I'm probably going to do on my bike is just we're trying to get this air breather as high as we can. So The chances of it throwing oil out are less, but it will still do an instant release on that crank. So anyway, like I say, I'm going to be busy with that house for at least another 6 months. I'll try and drop in videos. I'm starting to do bikes again at not to the public, just like this one, trying to get this one done for the customer and get it out. And of course I got my own mates, Bright Bikes, what are breaking down. Oh, can you fix my bike? And I'm like, oh yep, okay, not a problem, as long as you're not wasting, wanting it tomorrow. So anyway, and I've come up with this new I keep seeing this thing on YouTube where everyone, if you like this, give me the thumbs up and give me my, and I'm thinking, by God, I've got to say something about that. So I'm going to say it now. Whatever you do, don't give me the thumbs up and don't like this video, because I'm not interested in any of that. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't quite worked out. Don't give me the like. All right, you have a good one. Later. Duck is out.